I guess our first real milestone was not our first book, but our second book. Because our first book was an accident, but the second book we did, we set off with the intention of writing a book. We set off to write the best guidebook there had ever been on Southeast Asia. We started out running the business from the back room of our house, and it was a milestone when we managed to move out of the house and actually have an office separately. We were still a very small organization, just a handful of employees. Our first guidebook to India was a real milestone for us. With our India book, we finally had the finance to put a couple of other writers out on the road, and we spent, between the three of us, nearly a year of travel. And it was really in some ways betting the whole company on one book. But the book was much bigger than anything we'd done before. It was more expensive as well than anything we'd done before. It sold at a higher price, and it also sold far more copies. And to this day, if people ask me which book I'm most proud of, I'll say our India guide. It was a guide I thought which really opened a lot of doors for us. It was a critical success, but it was also a popular success. And for that reason, perhaps I've always loved India. Opening our office in America was definitely a milestone for us. We were an international publisher from the very start. I remember at the time a lot of people telling us, this is a really crazy decision. You're doing fine right now at the size you are. Why are you trying to have offices in two different countries when you're far too small to do that? And a couple of years later, people were telling us, God, that was a really clever idea.